hotter the conflict, the greater the triumph.
A fiercest serpent may be overcome by a swarm of ants.
Lead me, follow me, or get out of my way. Age wrinkles the body, opening wrinkles the soul.
Battle buddies.
Battle buddies.
Well,
Yeah,
feels good to be here.
it does. I have a business idea for you guys.
Send it.
Yeah, so I was at I've been at the auto mechanic shop a lot lately, and I had to change my car battery, which was a hassle because it's in the minivan S car, and I didn't know they put it in the floorboard behind the passenger seat. Like, it was fucking ridiculous to get to. Me and my neighbor are watching YouTube videos trying to figure out where it is because we opened up the hood and we're like, thought it would be there. And anyway, and you needed like a torque wrench to open it, but it was like a star pattern. Is that what I don't know what a torque wrench is, but I think
Sure.
it was a star thing. And I was like, I don't have that shit. And luckily my neighbor had it. And I was thinking, this is a business idea, which is, it's going to be called, "Hey, get off my lawn and into my garage." And so it's all the old people that are old retired guys. They open up their garages and you can go rent their equipment and shoot the shit with them and ask them, like, "Hey, I need to change the battery in my car." And they're like, "I got the tool for you, friend, because I'm retired and like to be helpful." Right? It's like in Vacaville, at least in our neighborhood, I feel like it's every other house of retired people. That garage is organized, it is efficient, and they are looking to help.
That's a pretty good idea, dude.
And the
Pretty good.
conversation that you
Yeah.
get from them, you'll learn a lot too.
It's like a rent-a-dad.
There you go.
That might be a better
I
name.
like it, dude. I say patent that shit.
It's already
Right.
copyrighted, listeners. Don't even try.
Oh, it already. Oh,
No,
wait.
no, it's not.
But it's not a thing,
I don't think so.
dude. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. Just here, trying to make things happen.
Well, I'm on board with that, and I think we could make something. We live close enough to the Silicon Valley to figure something out.
Oh yeah,
How about-
we need an app for it.
Have a startup company. That's just all San Francisco is now. It's just a bunch of startup companies all over the place.
Yeah, I was trying to make a startup joke about banks failing, but I didn't get there in time.
Good job, dude.
Thank you.
And it's zombie land down there. I don't know if you've been in a while.
To Silicon Valley.
I don't know about Silicon Valley, but Bay Area wise, San Francisco, it's no bueno.
I dropped off my wife at the airport. Was that yesterday, Kevin?
That was yesterday.
4.5 hours it took me to get to and from San Francisco airport. For listeners, that's too long from where we live.
It's a 45-minute drive.
You get stuck on the bridge.
Can't stand it. There was 2 accidents. I got stuck before the bridge and after the bridge and on the way home. It was great. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Battle Buddies. Woo! We're super stoked to be here, dude. We got a special guest tonight. A friend of the pod, Mr. Ben. Super stoked to have you here, dude. He's been a friend for a long time. We're all mutual
Chevys?
friends. I was just telling
It was
Kevin about
Chevy.
that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Spencer told me.
I was just telling Kevin about that. I was like, bro, our first conversation was about Star Wars. And Ben was like, "It's funny that you mentioned that. I just watched all of them." And I was like, oh.
Yeah, dude, I had to nerd out. It's the only way I could fit in at work.
I
Like,
feel like
the whole crew, that's all they talked about all day was Star Wars. And I'm just like, yeah.
it's okay, dude.
That's like my favorite sentence anyone said. Like I had to nerd out in order to fit in. Like, yes. It's my
Yeah,
time.
being nerd is mainstream now, dude. I've seen
Really?
Stranger Things as like the #1 show on TV.
That's cool.
So
While we're sitting here, sorry to interrupt. Your dog just farted. So bad.
I'm telling you, because she just eats toddler food all day. My kids just like chuck the food at her.
Boy.
oh, you got a dog in there?
Yeah, Sadie's here now.
I don't usually get that kind of treatment.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
lucky.
That part is rank. It's not good.
You don't smell it?
I do smell it. It's not good.
Woo! We got top-notch. We have a
Nice
top-notch sound studio, dude.
Yep.
Welcome to the sound studio of Battle of Independent Podcasting.
And Ben, you're a veteran too, right?
Yeah.
Spencer?
Ben
What-
is a veteran.
I was Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah, from 2010 to 2014, 15 was
Wow.
when I transitioned out.
Okay.
Yep. Now I work for the big bad PG&E.
Woo!
That is a scarier job.
No.
No, I just mean, wasn't there a time when you guys like couldn't wear your PG&E clothes out because of fear of?
Yeah, it's now.
Yeah, there was a few times where they sent out emails where you couldn't, like, hey, just when all those fires are happening up north. But
dude, it's nice having you as my hookup because like when things like power goes out, I'm like, hold on, I got a contact, and then you like send me screenshots of like the grid. I'm like, yeah, I know what's going on. Once I figure out how to read this thing, like we're good.
ETOR is all you need to do.
Yeah, don't know what that is still.
You just gotta pretend.
ETOR? No.
Estimated time of resolution.
Listeners, if you're not watching the video, Ben just looked at Kevin super disappointed, dude. He's like,
I thought it was standard.
That's great.
Yeah, dude, veterans. We like to have veterans on the show. So Ben, welcome. And you were mentioned in our last episode with our author, and we showed it. We talk about the video of the Marine deep throat and the dildo that you sent us.
Dude, I saw that and I was just like, because I've listened to a few of your podcasts before, especially that first one when you were talking about Leonidas, and I was just like, yo, what are these guys doing? And I was like, okay. And then that thing just, I don't know how, but it popped up and I was like,
you don't know how.
I have to send it to Spencer because he said a few stories in front of me about his Marine days. And then I saw that and I was like, there are so many bro codes being broken right now. I couldn't allow a friend to do that, man. So I had to talk a little bit of shit.
No, it's great. I'm all for it. You know, it was refreshing not hearing a crayon joke. So I liked it.
Dude, I really held back crayon jokes today when you're talking about your weighted vest. I was like, oh, they're just as melted crayons, you know?
The joke. That's good. So it wasn't a thing, dude, when you and I were in the military, but the kids nowadays in the Marine Corps, the stereotype is that Marines eat crayons because we're dumb.
You're so dumb.
We're like children. Yes, that's the joke.
That makes sense.
Kevin, do you want to start us off with some submarine talk, or you want me to begin?
No, I got the submarine shit.
Send us off, dude.
Okay. Let's see. Can you guys see everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's for later. So this fucking submarine thing came out of nowhere, right? And I was like, oh, we're not going to talk about it. I was talking about it with Hannah, and we're trying to figure out if we should do it or not. And we're like, no, like it's so pop culture-y. But this is our moment of like, this is our weather balloon boy moment for those that podcast about current events. We're like, holy shit, this is the thing this turned out to be a hoax or something like that. Like, oh man, everyone's gonna be pissed. Anyway, I have been reading lots on this and I still don't get everything that's going on. And I still don't know how much I care, or like, maybe that's the wrong way to say it. Maybe I'll just become callous, but like, these are pretty rich people that decided to make a very dangerous decision. Anyway, so there's this company and they give tour guides of the Titanic, which I didn't know was a thing. I thought only James Cameron was allowed to go visit the Titanic. But they're not. There's this dude who does it. And it's like 5 people, I think. They get into this cramped ass tiny submarine and they go 2 miles underwater to the freezing bottom of the ocean and they look at the Titanic, I guess. And I don't know. It sounds pretty sketch to me. Well, they're not doing well, and they've been lost at sea, and they're running out of oxygen. So it's like pretty fucking bad right now. Here, we're gonna play a little clip from CBS. We're gonna listen to all of it. I might shorten some of it down in the post-editing process. So if you want to listen to the whole thing, if I cut some of it, it's just cbsnews.com.
We're going to begin with the news. The breaking news this morning, a glimmer of hope in the search for a submersible that disappeared on its way to the wreck of the Titanic. Rescue teams picked up underwater noises in the search zone, but this is hundreds of miles off the coast of Massachusetts, and the zone itself about the size of the state of Connecticut. It's a very small vessel in a very large area of the ocean, and time is running out. Less than 24 hours of oxygen left on board. That's the estimate. Like 5 people on board. They're missing, including Stockton Rush, the founder of OceanGate, the company that built and deployed this sub. Roxana Saberi is in Boston for us with the latest on this. Boston is where the staging is happening. The rescues are being coordinated if they happen. Good morning, Roxana.
Dude, this story is turfing right now.
Dude,
like,
there's shit going on with it.
$250,000 to go. I think it would be fun.
Oh yeah, it sounds great.
I think it would be a lot of fun. Obviously, I would have to have about 1,000 trips before I go.
Right, and I think they do 0.
Because I think they're doing the same thing going to space, right? With like Bezos and Branson, where they have those space flights with 250, probably more, maybe.
Yeah.
But everything is safeguarded. But I get the communication going out. But how do you not have a GPS tracker on this thing,
dude?
Good question.
And it's sealed from the outside, so there's like this horror case of them being on the surface, and they're still going to suffocate and die because they can't open from the inside. It's pressure sealed from the outside.
Oh my god, dude!
It's fucking crazy.
I'm getting claustrophobic just thinking about this shit.
Yes, and I feel bad for everybody that's in there. Like, no one should die in a tiny submarine.
No. I don't want anybody to die. But it is, as I was watching this little video that you shared, I was like, man, dude, if somebody came up, like if you or Ben came up to me and you were like, yeah, man, I've seen the Titanic, I'd be like, fucking cool, I guess. Like, what? Like, okay, sure.
Learn.
I'd be like, whatever, James Cameron. But I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm biased, but like if somebody was like, yeah, dude, we went to the sea and like found this battleship and there was like still, like for instance, when I went to Hawaii, I don't know if you guys have seen the USS Arizona that's sunk or whatever. They turned it into a memorial. When you go there, there's still oil leaking from the ship.
Really?
Yeah. And like, that's hella cool. But like the Titanic, like, really? I don't know if I give a shit about the Titanic as much.
I'm not that enamored by the story of the Titanic. I'm like, that just sounds like a tragic story, I guess.
Same. Yeah, that's where I feel about it. So I feel like I'd want to see more like warships in the bottom of the ocean. You know what I mean? Or am I just being like a battle buddy nerd person?
Maybe both.
Okay.
I think the ocean's scary as shit.
The ocean,
that's like
totally.
I'm the most scared of in my life is the ocean, just because
you don't know what's in there.
It's dark. You are not a predator at all. Like,
no.
Yeah.
It's a wild story, and I don't think there have been that many successful submarine rescues historically.
Did you hear the Coast Guard guy? He was like, yeah, it's pretty complicated.
The size of Connecticut. I think someone was saying like now it's like twice the size of Connecticut they're searching. That's pretty huge. The search for one Tootsie Roll. Like that's very difficult.
Twice the depth of the Grand Canyon. Like, and he's like, and we have to do the surface. So I was like, gee whiz, bro.
Yeah, pretty wild. Also, I like, and maybe I'm sure I'm not getting it all right. If I'm whatever I'm missing, please email us at battlebuddiespod@gmail.com. I do want to learn more about like it doesn't feel proportionate to other like refugee boats that have been like sinking off the coasts of like Italy and stuff recently that we covered a few weeks ago. And maybe it is proportional. Maybe they're like you were an idiot, Kevin. There have absolutely been like rescue attempts for those people as well, but it feels like we got a lot of resources going for 5 people. I get that they're super wealthy, but like I don't know if like that was. I'm interested in if like that was built into their contract, like they were paying because it's international waters, right? I don't know like how they're getting that much sudden support, or if they're like we need to do a media blitz. That's our goal is to like get the media involved so that then the Coast Guard will come out and help us out. I wonder how all that worked out. That's a lot of money that we're spending to go rescue people that did something willingly. And I'm not saying we shouldn't rescue them. I'm just saying that is still a fact that happened.
In a short period of time, too,
yes.
Right? It's a mission that rarely happens. And then I think when they started, they have 96 hours of oxygen, whatever. And then you're like, what the hell's going on? If they lose communication a lot, it may not just be, they just lost communication like they normally do. So we're just going to take our time. It's not a big deal. Then it's like, when do you like raise the red flag? Like, oh shit, like we got people, we're in trouble here.
Yeah.
So when that video was released, they said they had 24 hours left of oxygen.
Thursday morning is like today, and I'm guessing as everything's Eastern time.
Okay.
Was when they were supposed to run out, or when they said they're
almost
to run
done.
out of oxygen. So these guys, 5 people paid $250,000 to be buried alive. Which is wild. Like
that's fucked up.
Risky.
And the guy's son still went to the Blink-182 concert and posted about that.
So what was that about? Can you explain that? Because
his son during all this, like last night, went to the Blink 182 concert and started posting about it. And everyone's like, hey, dude, like maybe don't go. And the other smarter people were like, maybe don't post about it. And he's like, not sorry. Like,
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter about it. And I was like,
Great kid.
what the fuck is happening right now? Dude, we live in a weird time, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's our first story. Pretty bonkers, but I was going to say I'm excited to see how it plays out, but more I'm anxious to see how it's going to play out.
I'm not a gambling man, but I think I know how this one's going to play out.
The question is, does it stay at the bottom or does it pop to the top?
Ooh.
That's a question for a submariner. Good question. I don't know. One thing that I do know is that I don't know a lot about submarines.
No,
But I do know.
it's so much fun learning about them.
Yeah. Das Boot. All right. We are headed next to so listeners. I picked this next topic because when Ben and I are hanging out, we are typically talking about ways to just, be more optimal. Ben is super into health and self-improvement and making good decisions in life as a dad, as a friend, as a husband, and all that stuff. And so I chose this next subject particularly because I want to hear Ben's opinion. And I am going to have my first class next year as a teacher. And if I'm being 100% completely honest, literally the only main anxiety that I have is trying to reel in discipline with cell phones. And the way that I'm going to combat that is on day one, instead of just being like, listen to me and this is the rule and that's why, I kind of want to give the why before I give them the reason. You know what I mean? Like, I want to give them like, here's some data on the issue and here's why I'm telling you that cell phones in the classroom might not be the best thing. So Jonathan Haidt, who is an author of The Coddling of the American Mind, which I highly recommend to any person who can read. It's all about our habits as Americans. And he just recently released an article in The Atlantic. I believe it's literally just called Get Cell Phones Out of Schools. And so we're going to watch this little news clip here and then kind of I'll walk you through some of the article.
Cool. Yeah, this one's from NBC News. The title of it, if you want to check it out, it's California High School Bans Students from Using Smartphones.
We'll have all these links in the description. And this is from 3 years ago, but the article mentions this exact video. So go ahead.
Headquarters in the heart of Silicon Valley, kids are trading screen time for school time.
I love not having my phone, to be honest.
I think lunchtime should be at least allowed to have your phone.
Beginning this school year, the 1,700 students at San Mateo High School must lock up their phones before heading to class.
You're here to learn. You're here to work with your teachers and students. And we started getting away from that because of these devices and how addictive they could be.
Students slide their phones into this yonder pouch and lock it up.
Last year, a lot of people just spend lunches, looking at their phone, not talking with each other. But this year, it's everyone there's nothing else to do but talk.
In fact, 95% of American teenagers own a mobile device. 70% check social media several times daily.
There are exceptions for medical reasons, and every student here gets this pouch for the year. And if you want to get a sneak peek at your phone, well, there is no easy way to do that.
8 phoneless hours later, students are saved by the bell, tapping this device to unlock their pouch, reunited, reconnected, after taking
that is fucking crazy moment.
Jolene Kent, NBC News, San Mateo, California.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe.
Our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh, have you guys heard of that YouTube out there?
Yeah, YouTube channel now.
All right, hold on. Let me minimize my screen here to open up my notes. Bear with me here. So, yeah, like I was saying, the article is called Get Phones Out of School Now. And Jonathan Haidt goes into tons of different studies that they've done. I'll give you one off of the top of my head. For instance, they did a study where kids put cell phones into their pocket They took a test on something that they all know, and then they put a cell phone on the desk, and they also took the same test, and then they put a cell phone in a completely different room, and they all took a test, and the results were pretty. I mean, what you would imagine is that the kids that took the test without the cell phone in the room did much better. They just released this year's results from school testing and grades and things like that. And since 2012, we have just been rapidly declining in school grades and being able to pay attention. And this author of the Atlantic article is arguing that 2012 was really like the huge turning point for cell phones, that they went from flip phones to just like normal, the phones that we use today. Sure. And he's correlating the decline of school testing results with just readily available cell phones and social media. The article goes into tons of, anecdotal evidence about just how social media is making kids depressed and making them feel lonely. And I don't know if you heard in the news clip there, the teacher was like, yeah, kids were sitting there on their phones during lunch, and now they're forced to talk to each other. So I suppose one of the things that I want to talk, another main thing here is that yesterday, I believe, Congress is literally talking about making schools illegal making phones illegal at school, excuse me. So they're definitely seeing the issue here. Yep. How phones are just taking away from people engaging in life. There's a new term today that I learned called fubbers, which is like, as you're having a conversation with somebody will just literally take out their phone while you're talking to them and just like stare at it. I do that. We all do. First and foremost, before we move forward, I 100% am addicted to my phone. Okay. Like I'm not sitting here being like, oh, I'm this like, self-righteous person, but like, no, dude, I 100% have an addiction to my phone because I'm a human being. So I guess like going forward, what do you guys think that we should do for the battle against kids and their cell phones in schools? Last week was the battle of guns and teachers in school, and now this is the battle of kids using cell phones in schools. And they also, and we'll get into it in a bit, they talk about gun violence on school campuses and like needing a phone. And this author says that actually that wouldn't help gun violence. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. They do nothing. Exactly.
I think I think that's just get the phones out of there completely, 100%. I see it at especially with COVID, they had two years of not being in school. I can only use my kid as an example, and you guys would have way more information on this than what I do when it comes to like social anxiety. Because like Bryson, my son, who is 9, going to be in 4th grade. His kindergarten year was cut short. His 1st grade year, he wasn't in school at all. In his 2nd grade year, I think it was like dual, where they kind of started at the end of the year, but they were also on Zoom at the beginning of the year.
The fucking hybrid model.
Yeah, the hybrid model. And like, he's already socially awkward because of that. And then when they're at home with the parents, like I was working from home, it's like, I need him off my back so I can do my job. So I'm like, here, dude, take this. And so they were just like thrown into it. And it's easily like, you can become an addict of it at such a young age. And then like my wife, who was an assistant principal this past year, she talks about how like violence, like kids don't know how to control themselves. Like if somebody takes something from another kid, it's like instant pop, punch. And like, I don't know if it's just that specific site or if I don't know the data on this, you guys may know, but they just don't know how to handle themselves. So they start fighting. So I think this is a great law if they do pass it.
I agree.
My only thing is, because like I'm so sick of the fucking phones, and I am the same with you. Like I don't blame them. Like I tell them, like you're being like, I talk about the Social Experiment or whatever on Netflix, that documentary where they explain like you are being trained to do it. Like it's not your fault. You're a kid. I don't think most things kids do are their fault. Like it's just a product of their environment and their upbringing and their genetics. Like they don't have the autonomy yet. Their prefrontal cortex isn't totally there yet. And they're just being trained to look at their phone all the time. So it would be better to not have the option of pulling out. My issue is the fucking enforcement of it. The enforcement of doing a rule like that is so like, I want to teach at some point. And it's hard when I have to enforce like a million random rules and like, hey, is that your phone? No, it's on my phone. Like, I know it was your phone. Just tell me it's your phone so I can tell you to put it away. And they're like, it's not my phone, man.
Okay. It shouldn't come from you though. It should come from the top. That's not a teacher, in my opinion. That's not a rule that a teacher should set for like you, Spencer. You're going into the classroom. That shouldn't be your rule. That should be the district's rule pushed down saying no phones. So that way you don't have to deal with that shit.
Well, it is our school rule.
So Ben is on something here. So that is actually how I'm going to package it. I'm going to say, this ain't on me. This is the school rule. So you can't get upset with me. This is just the rule. This is just it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about using it as like you can earn cell phone time or whatever.
Give an inch, take a mile, man.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right, dude.
Middle school kids are the book if you give a mouse a cookie. Like
really?
What are they doing? That's what I don't get. Like, oh, you're gonna get on social media at school. Every other kid is at school. You know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Then, like, are you watching the news? Are you here looking to see what Andrew Tate is going, or what's going on with him? Like, or some influencer? Those kids they should be in school too. So
true, dude. Totally true. Yeah. So at the end of the day, the way that I'm viewing this is like I'm literally going to take this article and show them the data and be like, look, man, this is affecting people's like mental health to the point where Congress is like, man, should phones not be allowed on school? So if I give them logical reasoning and also like the rules, Kevin's over here like, logic?
Bless you.
But anyway, I found that super interesting. There was a video.
I had a system that worked really well.
Uh-huh.
And I might try it again. Ms. Mo, if you're listening, just like don't pay attention for a couple seconds, the rule was like you take the phone from the kid and you bring it up to the front office. But the practicality of it, like the pragmatics of it, is like really stressful because you have to like literally take an object from a kid and it's probably their most expensive object. And I'm like, I don't like this already. And the kid's like, I don't want to give it to you. Like, I don't want to take it. Like, I'm agreeing with you. And then they get to write like a pass in, like, how do I get it from me to the office really quickly? And then it's like a whole thing. I didn't like it. So I was I had a box and it said like student phones, and I would just take it and put it in the box. Or if the kid was like really angry, I'd be like, you just put it in the box. And then they get it back to the end of the class. And that worked really well.
What do parents say?
Well, so that's why I stopped it, because other teachers got themselves into trouble doing something very similar to that. The parents like, I need the kid's phone right now, because like the kid went and grabbed another kid's phone and called, and they started making a shitstorm.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, that could backfire. And then I'm not technically following the school rule, because technically the school rule is to give it to the office. So next year, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't want to get in trouble. I like working and then going home. And if I get in trouble, I have to stay after school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. I like teaching and I like not teaching.
Yep. So just an interesting little topic. I'll end it with this. The author who published this on Twitter and talked about it, he released a video of a kid in Japan crying, and the way that he was self-soothing as he was crying is he was pretending to scroll through a tablet.
Damn.
Like that's how he was self-soothing.
So thank you, Spencer, for making me think about my fucking job.
Happy summer vacation.
Yeah. All right. So this one is a fun one. This is legitimately a fun one. Ben, you're way better with money than I am. Ben is so responsible, listeners, that he's the reason why I have a PS5. And I just never thank you enough for that. And for those that are interested in that story, it was simply that I approached my wife and I was like, hey, I think I need a PS5. Like, I think it'll be really good for me. And she's like, you're very careless with money when we don't watch it. And I don't think that's actually a good idea at all. Like, why do you feel you need this? And I was like, oh, those are good points. And then we went over to Ben's house, and Ben, the uber responsible one of our group, had a fucking PS5 and talked to me about playing Hogwarts.
Bro.
And I was like, this is big deal for me, and you don't even realize. So I went home and I was like, hey, guess who has a PS5? Ben does. She's like, Ben does. I was like, yeah. So that adds a little bit of weight. And that's literally all I had to say. And she's like, well, I'm interested in the topic now. So
You play that game?
no.
Dude. Like when we talk about Nerd Now, we talked about Nerd Now before with Star Wars. That Hogwarts game is legit. It's
Hogwarts are fucking.
I didn't want to say anything again. This is the third time that this thing farted over here.
Oh, word.
Bro. Yeah, you gotta tell your kids to stop feeding the dog.
Oh, man. All right.
Oh, shoot.
So this story is, the moral of that story is that Ben is very good with his money and is very responsible. I learned a lot about finances from him. But this story is that the Pentagon overestimation, it led to $6.2 billion in surplus going to the Ukraine arms. So the arming the Ukraine. I'm just going to quickly go over some of the highlights and facts of this. I got this one from the Improve the News, and their main sources, Al Jazeera, the Associated Press, The Hill, and the Daily Mail. Most of it's the Associated Press. Anyway, basically what happens is that over the past 2 years, they've underestimated or overestimated the budgets that they needed for supporting Ukraine. And the reasons are super random. They're like, we estimated what the gun's valued at, but then we gave them a used gun instead. And so it didn't really matter in the end. There's like weird shit like that they're saying. And it sounds a lot like the old history lessons that we all had in high school of like how a hammer cost $1 million, or like, how the governments do that kind of stuff. And anyway, what's cool about this, I mean, not cool, but what's interesting is that this isn't really a left-right split. So usually when we're reading stories here, we're talking about the Democrat and then the Republican splits. But this one is really if you are pro-establishment split or critical of the establishment split.
Nerd narrative.
And then the nerd narrative, which is always there, we'll look at that one in a second because Spencer loves that one.
Hogwarts.
But there's another cool feature about Improve the News. We've talked about Improve the News quite a few times, but you can split articles not just left and right, but also pro-establishment and anti-establishment. And it's funny because the pro-establishment and critical establishment say the same thing, but one just has like sarcasm. So the pro-establishment's like, how lucky are we? We get like this air came at the right time to help the Ukraine. And then the critical establishment is like, how fucking lucky are we that like this random thing just suddenly happened at the exact moment when we needed to, almost like they planned for this to happen.
Mm.
Right? So it's either that this is just a crazy random happenstance and now we get to give $6 more billion to the Ukraine, or it's of course they did this so that they can give an extra $6 billion to arming Ukraine. And my question is, what do you guys think about this?
It shows that we got a bunch of dumb fucks over there and running our government.
Yeah, you think this is an actual error?
It's a calculated error.
It's calculated error.
It's a calculated miscalculation.
There we go.
But I don't know. It's frustrating. It's kind of sad and embarrassing if you really think about it. Like,
right?
I don't know, man. It's just and then where it's going. I just have a problem with that too. Like, I don't know how much money has already been given to another country, but like one thing that I've learned over the past couple years is like if you want to be able to take care of like being a dad, I guess,
right?
Or a husband and a father. Like it's like if you wanna be able to take care and care for your family, you have to be able to like take care of yourself first. Be selfish and not be selfish, but like
selfish. My wife and I talk about it. Selfish isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I want to go on my run. I'm selfishly going to go on my run and just blow off some steam when you have these little motherfuckers at home that are just driving you fucking crazy.
Sure.
And then I want to pop a gummy every now and then. And just relax at night. And I'm not like fucking off the walls. Like I can take care of my kids at the same time.
Totally.
I want to have fun. I got to take care of me to be able to take care of others. And that's the thing that frustrates me the most about this is you got these people that they want to give to all these other countries. It's like, man, like we talked earlier, San Francisco is a nasty nasty, nasty place. And all of our major cities are. Chicago's real bad. Philadelphia. All these places are. It's like, why can't we throw some money? Everybody wants to attack Elon Musk and all these other people. Like, why don't you solve world hunger? You want to fly to space? It's like you got a fucking government that has $6.2 billion fuck up, and
Right.
they want to give it away to somebody else. I don't know. That's why that's my take on it.
Yeah. It should be illegal that there's fucking people in major cities that say Vietnam veteran hungry. Like that should be fucking illegal. I agree, dude. I don't know. I feel like this is how I feel about it. If I spent hella money on, I don't know, video gaming or whatever the fuck it was, and for this instance, we'll use the Afghanistan war as the America's video game. It's like I spent 20 years worth of war on stuff, and if a war pops up somewhere else on the planet, or if somebody else is like, hey, Spence, can I borrow some money? I'm like, hey, man, I've been playing video games for 20 years. I literally can't afford it. Why can't the government be like, hey, bro, we made a whoopsie daisy and we did like a 20-year war. We just literally can't afford it. But I don't know. You're saying here it's a miscalculation. Like, how does that even make? I doubt that.
Well, so and I'm on an interesting take right now, reading through Ukraine conflicts because of our interview with Lyle, which you haven't listened to it. Go listen to it because it's really good. It's some of our best work.
Yep.
Because Lyle really props us up, which appreciate that from him. But he's, a Marine turned socialist, and he's incredibly educated. And he was like, I support the Ukraine war. And I was like, that's not what I expected, somebody that's like so far left to say. But he's like, I'm scared of, what happens if they lose. But the part that he talks about radical analysis, and what I'm thinking about now is like this extra $6.2 billion, it's like a fuck up that they planned. Where does that money actually go? Like, is it just going to Halliburton to like get more AKs or whatever, M16s or whatever? Like, is it literally just moving still within our borders to like some weird conglomerate military organization that's just new and lobbied for this weird miscalculation to happen? Like, it's pretty fucked up if it is, because it means that it's not what we voted on. And like that bugs me a little bit, that like this war machine got fed more, even though we put a limit on it, but it turned out it was like a soft limit because they just worked around it out in the open.
Yeah, that's the other frustrating thing, when you have to report every single dollar that you make and where it goes like throughout the year and submit to the IRS, and then that money that you had to, that they take from you, where did that go?
Right.
You're like here in California, you're still driving on shit roads. All the roads out here suck. So that's, I don't know, man. It's a clown show if you ask me. But back to that guy, what does happen if Ukraine loses that war? That's
good question.
I don't know.
So to clarify, so Lyle on our show, he didn't necessarily say he supported the war. He did say he supported arming Ukraine. That's what he said.
Sorry, that's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to all this, he's kind of like on board with it. And like it's tricky. It's a super tricky thing, because obviously, like I do want Ukraine to do their thing, and what Russia's doing is fucked up. I understand that. But as we cover here on Battle Buddies, dude, there's a lot of fucked up shit happening around the planet. Like literally just Google Sudan. Google South Sudan.
Their 3-day ceasefires finally ended, and it's not going well already.
I don't know. Send a couple $2 billion that way to help some people out. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird how we pick and choose certain conflicts when there's like conflicts happening all over the world. And I kind of feel, like I said earlier, it's like, can we just, like Ben was saying, it's like, can we just be selfish for 2 seconds, dude?
Yeah.
Can we just be selfish for? We did one for 20 years. It's going to cost so much money to help all the veterans that have been wounded from the war that we spent 20 years doing. We have to spend money for them to get houses. We have to spend money for them to get educated. Let's chill. Let's just fucking chill for a second.
Right.
I don't know.
Who knows? This is why we're not covering the Ukraine conflict.
This is exactly why. Not until like 10 years from now when it's over.
Yeah, we're going to wait till we get more literature on it.
We need books.
If it's over in 10 years.
Fuck.
Dang. Thanks for that.
Nothing but positivity on Addie's episodes.
You want your TikTok one or your loneliness one?
Let's get silly with it. So, listeners, if you don't know, Ben is married to the world's most famous TikToker. She is.
Don't say that.
She's the world's most famous TikToker. I watched this video, Ben, of you getting ice poured on you as a silly little prank. Do you remember that video?
That got removed, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they said that I abused my wife. I verbally abused my wife. Yeah. Whoa. No joke.
The one where you're about to walk up the stairs and she pours an ice bucket?
Yeah. Because I was I can't remember what was going on that day. Yeah, dude. She was so pumped about it. And it was funny. And it was just kind of like one of those moments like, what the fuck?
Dude, your facial expression is hilarious.
That's the reaction she wanted.
Yeah, exactly. It's like fun, but and I said something like, "Are you doing this for one of your stupid fucking TikTok videos?" And she was so
that's a trigger for them.
She was pumped about it because she had like some 50,000 views in the matter of like 15-20 minutes, right? So it was like she was pumped. And then she had ended up getting like a report. Some people were saying that I verbally abused her, and so and they reported it to TikTok. I don't know how it all works. She would know, but yeah, they removed it. And then she was just like, "What?"
Is there a more refined version on your TikTok though, dude? Because that's where I saw it.
Oh, I can't remember. It's probably on there. I don't get on TikTok. That literally is there for me to like help her out. I get on there. She's like, "Hey, will you watch my video?" Like dumb shit like that.
Okay. All right. Well, so with that in mind, that's actually really hilarious and super topical for what we're about to get into.
Jesus.
So on that topic of pranks on TikTok, let's watch this clip.
Faked his own death to see who would attend his funeral in a TikTok stunt.
Literally a plot line from Parks and Rec.
David Betten's children announced his death on social media after the 45-year-old felt underappreciated by his wider family. A funeral notice was posted on Mr. Betten's account, notifying them of a funeral following day. He then arrived at the ceremony in a helicopter.
They're like crying.
Oh my God! I
this got to be fake.
It's pretty cruel, if you ask me. The man who has 160,000 followers on TikTok received online backlash for the stunt. Not surprised.
Yeah, people were pissed.
Following the negative response, the 45-year-old said he was ashamed at what he'd.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
All right.
It was planned. That was planned.
Do you think so, dude?
Yeah, I do.
So, but then that's good. Then let's bring up this conversation. Like, at what lengths are people going to go to get their fucking views and likes on TikTok? That's a Black Mirror episode right there, right?
What about the kid from where the hell is he from? Little kid from Europe that does that shit where they're literally he would just get in somebody's car, like some random person's car. He would just get in their car, get out, get in the person, and like for me. And then they went into somebody's house and they just started sitting on the couch. The wife was working on something in the front yard. The door was kind of cracked open. They just walked into the house. The husband's in there. He's like, "I'm just going to sit down here." And I think he was on the news with like Pierce Morgan. He said it was like a race thing. That's why everybody's upset because he was black. And it's like, yo, dude,
probably the home invasion part.
Like, bro, like you're breaking laws. If you like, for me, it gets to the point where when are you going to? And I don't know. For me, I would beat the living fuck out of somebody that walked into my house. I got young kids, man. Like you come into my house, like you're not going to be able to walk out. Like, I'm not saying that you're going to die, but you're not going to be able to walk out, man. And it's like, so is it real or is it fake? Is it like, you know what I mean? Are they a part of it just to get views, get money? Hey, I'm going to throw a couple $100 your way if you be a part of this video and act. So,
or which one's worse? Like, they're both pretty scummy. Like,
it is pretty scummy. Yeah.
Do you, so then, okay, let's get real deep. Do you ever see your wife doing stuff towards a TikTok video and you're like, too much?
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But Bryson will call her out. Bryson will be like, "Mom, you're not the same person. Like, at home, you're not the persona. Same. Yeah, you're not the same person at home as you are on TikTok. You're fun. You're fun on TikTok. You're no fun at home. Like, it pulls those out.
Damn.
That's a good observation to make because people do become different humans on the internet.
You got a persona. I'm not against that.
Except here on Battle Buddies.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's fake because, man, we could talk forever on this.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
There's so much. It's like people care so much about what I'm one of these people, or I used to be one of these people. I'm working on it now. But they care so much about what other people think of them, even though they don't even know the people. They just want some random person to think that there's somebody that they're really not. Because we've had friends, your dog farted again. Oh my God.
I don't know what she ate.
That's the name of the episode.
Man, dog farts.
Dog farts.
Were you talking about something farting on the Hannah's podcast? That one with Hannah? A plane?
Oh, the jet.
The jet farting.
But we're like couples, a lot of couples. We've all seen it. Everything is happy-go-lucky on social media, but in reality, when you're like, yo, come on, man.
That's actually my biggest complaint about social media. Like all we see is the good stuff. I never see like, I'm in debt. Like,
And is it really good?
Yeah, is it?
Like,
No, true. I agree 100%, dude. They have a Black Mirror episode. My favorite Black Mirror episode is the one with the dude's the famous guy from Happy Days, his daughter Bryce Howard. How everything is like after every conversation you rate someone and you give people ratings or whatever.
Oh,
and
nice.
towards the end of the episode, like the real people, all the real human beings are the ones with like hella low ratings because they don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
But this is the other thing. And you made a comment. I saw something online with you the other day. You posted something like TikTok is a very toxic place.
Twitter. Yeah, I said that.
Yeah. So what it is somebody puts out some fake shit on TikTok, like, everything is going great, all that shit. But everybody else that's doing the same thing, and this is just my opinion, obviously, but like, because they're so upset and they think that person is doing so great, they're pissed off. So what are they going to do? They're going to tear them down. And I think that's where a lot of the depression comes in. Like, because I kind of want my kids on social media, not like super early, but I want it to be where we're a part of it. That's one thing I'm glad my wife is a part of it.
Right.
So like you can kind of like, hey, listen, like this is going to happen. People are going to say some fucked up shit.
Right.
Like, so you have to like have some thick skin. So, and that's where I think like what we were talking about earlier with like the depression of being addicted to your phone, because that's what it is. You're looking at somebody else's life, a Kardashian life, thinking that you're going to have the same shit. And in reality, it's not. Like my wife did a video the other day and it was like a glamour thing. And I was like, damn, fucking fine as fuck. But I know my wife, and I'm not saying my wife is a beautiful woman, but she ain't that. And that's what's tough. With somebody that doesn't know her, it's going to think that she's that.
Yeah, dude, that like, so the reason I posted that on Twitter about TikTok being a hella toxic place, I posted a fucking clip of our show. It was of me, God. Kevin and I were literally just reading a headline. We were reading a headline about
that's all the clip was.
It was a headline about the Trump potty documents, and everyone was like, "You're spreading lies. You're fucking blah blah blah." And I was like, "Bro, you want to know what combated it? You want to know what made them all like shut up?" I was hella nice to them. I was just like, "Oh, dude, thanks for watching the clip, dude. I appreciate your input. And like, good for you, dude, for living your life. Be well." And they were all like, "Thanks, man." I was like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. Like they wanted me to, they wanted to like pull me into this huge argument, and I just didn't do it.
Nope.
I Ted Lasso'd it. I was just super positive about it.
I gotta watch that last season.
There's
another issue. I want to try and talk about it today. I actually want to talk about it when we bring on my student teacher from last year when he talked about the Philippines. But
Mr. V?
Mr. V. Me and him talked a lot about, and he kind of opened me up to this world of digital rhetoric stuff, which is when your wife's video got taken down, that's a huge problem, especially on mediums like YouTube. And so the language is literally changing, and now we're getting it like in our essays from kids. So instead of saying dead, if you watch YouTube videos, they say unalive, because unalive doesn't trigger the algorithm. And so we're getting kids writing unalived in their essays now, and like they don't realize that dead is the word they're supposed to use.
Okay.
That's fucking crazy, right? Like that's a wild ass thing.
Dude, so I tried posting that clip of talking about the video that Ben sent us with the deep throating on, and TikTok took it down. Because they said the audio is not like something maybe because I used the word deep throat. I don't know, but
it's weird, man.
Yeah, they took it down.
So much other shit on there. That's why I don't
because it's getting around. It's just this is the issue with policing. Like it's hard to do correctly, and so if you just write an algorithm or like an AI, it's not AI. It's just a fucking algorithm.
Yeah.
And so like it does one thing really well, and so people are also very smart, and they can figure out creative ways around it.
I noticed like comedians do that a lot because a lot of comedians have they have like those raunchy jokes. Like I like the Matt Rife. He's kind of new. He's up and comer from Columbus, I think. So that's why
Ohio?
Yeah, Ohio cat.
Oh, cool, dude.
But when he talks and if he says fuck, it says the caption is F-U-G-G. It's like fug.
Yep. That's what they're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like whatever, I don't know the other ones. I just that's one that's out of my mind.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. We're gonna get into that because I study a lot of digital rhetoric, and so it's like the new digital rhetoric thing that's coming out. And so
it's that's your wheelhouse, dude.
Yeah, it's literally a battle that's going on, and like content creators are in it right now.
Sounds like some 1984 shit,
dude. Seriously, it's wacky. Okay, but let's talk about terrorism instead, because that's always fun.
Woo!
Woo! Okay, this story was inspired because Spencer, did you tell me to watch Jack Ryan, the one with
great
John?
show.
I think actually Ben.
Yeah,
I watched Jack Ryan, but I think Ben probably told you, but I fucking love that show.
So the other night, Han and I were flipping through, and I was like, I just feel like I need to watch Jack Ryan take on something really difficult. And we were looking at some old Harrison Ford ones. I think I was looking at Patriot Games. I was like, all right, we should watch Patriot Games. We haven't watched that one. She's like, we've definitely watched it. I'm like, we haven't watched Patriot Games. You're thinking of something else. And we clicked it. And it's like, do you want to resume where you were left at? And I was like, all right, so we watched this one. That's clear to me now. So we watched Jack Ryan because I was like, Ben told us. I thought it was Spencer.
Before you go one more time, I'm sorry. Check out The Terminalist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carr is a Navy SEAL. He's the author of the books.
Is it good?
It's pretty much like Jack Ryan, but darker.
Okay.
I'm on the third book right now. It's a really, really enjoyable series.
I'm still in True Believer, but go ahead. Sorry, man.
Yeah. So anyway, they said something and I wasn't sure if it was true or not. So I looked it up, and he says on like the second episode that 9/11 happened for $500,000. And I was like, what the? Like, no. And then I was trying to think through. I was like, I actually have no idea how much a terrorist attack cost to like train and house.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting. Suddenly like opened up my mind. Like, there's a whole world of counterterrorism and terrorism that I'm not even thinking about. And it turns out I looked up, this is from the 9/11 Commission on the government website. So you can find it. And this is a crazy read. Anyway, on their summary of the financing, it is true. And so this was some good research they did that the hijackers, it essentially cost them $400,000 to $500,000 to commit 9/11. Now, that's important because we're going to go over some counterterrorism things that we've done recently. And at first, they don't seem like that big of a deal. But when you realize how little money you need to commit terrible acts, every dollar counts. That's what Hannah told me when I was trying to explain the story. She's like, so it turns out every dollar counts? Like, yes, that's my new motto when I'm thinking about this stuff. Every dollar counts that we keep from someone who's radicalized. So what we did this last week, we imposed sanctions on 2 ISIS leaders, which is really interesting. Like, that seems crazy that like we can't take them out because we seem to take out fucking everybody who has a gun. Like, I don't really get why we can't. Not that I'm condoning us just taking out people all the time with drones. I don't think that's a long-term solution, but it is interesting that like there are people that we can't really touch. So we put sanctions on them, which is good because we really believe that they're not just deemed terrorists. They're deemed that special term that I've seen on these reports a lot now, which is specially designated global terrorist, which means they're probably a big fucking deal. And then the other one, which is very interesting, this happened on June 8th And I'll read it for those that are listening. If you want to look at it, you can also open up your phone and you can see the video playing. So the Massachusetts State Prosecutor Office released a statement according to which Mateo Ventura, an 18-year-old resident of Wakefield, north of Boston, who tried to raise money for ISIS by selling gift cards on the dark web, was detained for knowingly concealing the source of material support or resources to a foreign terrorist organization, i.e. ISIS. Between January and May, Ventura donated $705 to support ISIS. In addition, it was noted that Ventura wanted to join the ranks of ISIS to fight the Kufar, or the infidels. I don't know if I said that word right. The Kufar. If convicted, he faces up to 10 years in prison, supervised releases that could last a lifetime, and a fine of up to $250,000. That's from ABC News. Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah,
this
that
guy
is
was
crazy.
selling gift cards on the dark web to funnel money into ISIS.
Yeah.
And so when you
Wow.
first read it, $705, like, doesn't seem like he was very good at it. But this seems like he was just starting, and he was $700. You think you only need $400,000 to commit terrible acts. Every dollar counts. And so us stopping that was actually a really good thing. And we didn't kill him. So like, we put him in jail. We can get information out of him. Maybe we can learn how it worked. Like, that's all good things. This is an actual win for us.
Why? I don't know. I guess I'm still a novice in the crypto world, but isn't it pretty easy to send money and not be tracked in the crypto world?
I have no idea. You know more.
Good question.
Yeah. I've invested in some, and but I don't know shit about it. I just jumped on, but yeah, it just seems like that's going to be on Jack Ryan season 3, isn't it?
I think so. It's the last season that I know that they're doing the last season. I'm pretty stoked about it. But that's Jack Ryan's like thing in the show. He's all about finances and tracking money.
Yeah, the Jack Ryan, it's so hard. I have to like remember that he's Jack Ryan, because sometimes they're like, he also was a Wall Street mogul. I'm like, really? He was also a Wall Street mogul? And I'm like, oh,
he's
wait.
also a Marine.
It's like, he's Jack Ryan. He can do anything. Like, that's his whole thing.
He becomes fucking president, dude.
Whoa, spoiler.
They used to sell paper.
In the books.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe that in the books.
Spoiler. I don't know if he becomes president on the show. I'm saying in the books, he becomes President Ryan.
That's the Harrison Ford one, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So any other thoughts on that? It just seems like wild shit going on. And I just can't believe people are still fucking like, I want to support ISIS from America.
I think the harder, and I could be way off, but they have to like spend a lot of money brainwashing people.
Yes.
Like, you have to brainwash a shit ton of people to just go and kill themselves.
I've read
The
through
name of the game.
many of those documents. So I read through a lot, and most of it was done through Facebook messaging. And it's like, it's just time more than money, I think. Because like, really what they're doing is just sending them messages like, hey, how was your day? Yeah, I'm really happy you're here too.
Did you see the movie? And this is, I know we're always going
Yeah.
off of movies and shit, but it's, what's it called? American something. It's got the amazing.
with Tom Cruise?
No. That's a good movie too, though. Like, where he's smuggling drugs. Now, what the hell is the movie? It's got
American Ultra.
No, I can't believe it. I'm drunk.
Man,
It's got Michael Keaton in it. It's got the kid from Maze Runner. His I don't want to spoil it, but that's pretty much what happens. Is there's a terrorist attack at a beach. His fiance dies, and he's like he commits his entire life to becoming he's talking to all the jihads over there. He's trying to get recruited in, but he wants to get recruited in to fucking take them all out.
American Assassin.
There we go. American Assassin.
Yeah. Hella good movie.
It's crazy. Okay. Yeah, last things on terrorism. So terrorism overall is pretty much like, it's still on kind of a decline. There is still shit going on in Africa. And the battle for hearts and minds going on right now is trying to get people in Ethiopia to radicalize and trying to get them to other places in Western Africa. So, we don't have time necessarily to talk about all that, but I think it is interesting to always remember that these terrorist organizations, even though it's fun to make fun of them because like the hearts and minds weekly newsletters and stuff like are wacky to read. But they are still like super organized and like they have ideas and they clearly like have a team that's like thinking through them. So they are targeting a specific place, Ethiopia, and they're telling they have a specific camp set up for those specific people that they radicalize in Western Africa. So I guess kind of thoughtful and still terrifying, even though like it is still on the decline. Like it's still fucking scary, and it's still like a huge issue, especially in other places like Africa. We keep seeing it is not solved.
Yep.
It's a battle.
You can just play like a minute of this clip, and this is what we'll end on.
All right, so this clip is from another NBC News.
Talk about loneliness.
And it's not just the exercise.
You're connecting with someone, which is something that I was kind of missing.
More and more people are missing that connection and are feeling lonely.
The pandemic poured fuel on a fire that was already burning.
Dr.
Vivek Murthy, the U.S. Surgeon General, says loneliness is an epidemic. The focus of an 80-page advisory he is releasing today.
We're used to thinking about smoking and obesity as clear public health concerns.
So you're saying loneliness is comparable to smoking in terms of the detriment to your health?
Yeah, in terms of the risk that it poses for premature death, yes.
Half of U.S. adults experience measurable loneliness, and it's greater among young adults.
When you struggle with loneliness, when you're socially disconnected, it increases your risk of depression and anxiety and suicide, but it also increases your risk of physical illness as well.
Loneliness increases the risk for heart disease, stroke, and among older adults, dementia. The cure, Dr. Murthy says, is not only personal change, but societal change as well.
What we need to do is actually rebuild social infrastructure in our country.
Wait. Before this video is really important, but is he Surgeon General? Is he have a military uniform on? Like, is he sworn in like as a military service?
The United States Surgeon General is in the military. Yes, he's in the Navy, I believe.
He's in the Navy?
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
This guy?
I believe so.
That's wild. I always just thought it was just like a fucking random title. Like I thought he was like Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
Yeah, I found this article. I believe it was on CNN. If you don't believe in if you don't like CNN, then fucking go be lonely. But
damn,
it's just
them to 50% likely to get dementia.
I agree with everything he said.
Yeah, no, that was it's like what's the report? The ACEs study. That's what we use up here in Northern California. That's from Kaiser.
Ben has, I think Ben has told me about something called Ikigai. Is that what it's called?
I was going to bring it up.
Tell us about it, dude.
So it's Japanese. It's Japanese. My wife is half Japanese, so I love their culture. I like the samurai, all that stuff. But and that is one of the most crucial parts because the people of Japan, I guess they had like the longest lifespan or whatever average age in Japan. It's crazy. They have some crazy amount of their population. You can look it up. That's over 100 years old. And this book is like the Ikigai is like finding your purpose, finding like your way of life. And that is a big part of the of finding it is finding a community and having that conversation with people and not just being that's part of the phone problem because it takes you away from that. And it's getting out and doing like pickleball is coming on strong out here. Just being able to go out and bullshit. How we went to the golf range the other day and just hit some balls for Father's Day. It's good to get out, have that conversation, keep your mind sharp. And I think that's mainly the main thing. That's why I think this podcasting thing is so cool that you guys do, is because and you're reading this and your mind is staying sharp. It's constantly being worked because it is a muscle. And I think that's why they talk about it fighting dementia. Is because you're keeping your brain strong. So that's a big part of it.
Cool. Well, there's a psychologist. Damn, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But they called it like the third place. So like everyone always, the church used to be like your third place. You had your home, and then you had your work, and then there was a separate place that wasn't your home or your work, which was church. And that place was where your community would build. And that was like super important to socializing in America. Like that's how Americans were supposed to socialize essentially. And it worked pretty well. It just, then there's all those other issues with it. And so now that like kind of a lot of us are going away from church and it's not in our lives, or church isn't as packed as it used to be, that's not like the place everyone goes, that we don't all have that third place to socialize at.
The third place now is school for kids, right?
But you can,
that could be work though. That could be considered work, I think, maybe.
Okay. But still.
But for a lot of kids, it is. Yeah.
The same article as before. That's why that other school down wherever the hell it was, San Jose, is so great. Get off your damn phone and go communicate with people.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting one to end on. I just want people out there listening to know that, go hang out with people. We appreciate you for listening to us. Interact with us. We're gonna have a Discord. Yeah, interact with us. If you want to be on the show, dude, come on the show. See, like our buddy Ben here.
Gotta get the wife on sometime, I think.
What's that?
I think Becky would kill on this.
Then get her on here.
Yeah, do it.
I will. Because she's an educator. She's into that. And then I think she'd be great on here.
Well, we think you're great on here, bro.
Oh, thank you.
So
hey, next time I come though, I'm gonna have to bring my gas mask.
It is ranked out here.
On the last part where Kevin was talking, I was just like, "Fuck, man, this dog is intense."
This is part of the initiation process, and we had to haze you into the buddies network, and now you're one of us, bro. So congrats.
Hey, did you freeze it?
But yeah, listeners. Oh, did I freeze?
I thought you did it on purpose.
No, you're good now.
Yeah, but I don't know. Listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in this week on At Ease. Ben, we appreciate you for coming on. We hope that you return to come on to the show. And, we have some really exciting stuff coming on the show soon. We're going to be finishing up our Julius Caesar.
Yeah, we are.
And, look forward to that. We apologize that the consistency of our episodes will be a little bit sporadic as the summer goes on because we are on vacation and doing things with family members. But Ben, here at Battle Buddies, we have a sign off that we like to do where we say bonsai. So what I say is thank you for listening, and until next time, bonsai. Cool.